Hey guys, in this review, we're checking out the brand new version 2 Typhur Dome.
Ooh.
The Typhur Dome 1 is probably the best air fryer I've ever used, so can this version 2 be that much better? Let's find out. So what are the differences? The most obvious and impactful difference is the addition of a bottom burner. It now has top and bottom burners for 360 degrees of heating. With the addition of a bottom burner, the Typhur Dome 2 sits slightly higher than its predecessor, and you can see here there's now a larger air gap underneath. It also has a larger vent in the back. The trays are similar, with a slight difference being that the V2 does not have these things. I don't know what to call them. The crisper trays appear identical and both trays weigh the same amount. What doesn't weigh the same are the air fryers. As soon as I pulled the V2 out of the box, I knew something was different, and to my surprise, it's actually lighter. By 2.5 pounds. How is that possible? It's larger and lighter. Another difference is they have 8 presets on the V2 compared to 10 on the V1, but you can access all 15 presets using the app. Some of the default settings have changed, and I would imagine that's due to the addition of the bottom burner. You can customize these presets using the app. To use the app, first you need to connect it to the dome, which you do so by simultaneously pressing the up and down time arrows until you see a Wi-Fi symbol flashing. Open the Typhur app and click the Add symbol, then navigate to Typhur Dome 2. You'll have to select your Wi-Fi network, put in your password, and then you'll be good to go. The Typhur Dome will only connect via 2.4G, so if you're having trouble, you might want to check your Wi-Fi settings first. Also, quick tidbit, if you want to change your device from Freedom units to Celsius, you can do that by simultaneously pressing the up and down temperature arrows. The Typhur Dome 2 has a temperature range of 105 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's not that loud, roughly 55 decibels using the air fry setting, which is probably the loudest setting. Okay, time for the first test. I wanted to test the evenness of the burner, so I'm filling up the tray with bread and selecting the toast setting. On the first run, it doesn't look toasted enough. Now, don't forget you can change the default settings on the app, and it will change them on the buttons as well. I think this is a great feature on this air fryer, allowing you to customize to your preference. For this time, I am just running another cycle. You can see some unevenness here in the toast setting, but nothing too alarming. It's pretty well toasted, and I didn't need to flip. I started a Facebook group for the Typhur Dome, and one of the questions that comes up the most is what are the best settings for a frozen pizza? Typhur has now put in a pizza preset, and you'll notice that once selected, the Dome 2 now has a preheat function, something that the Dome 1 doesn't have. I had to organize these pepperonis a little better, my OCD just couldn't. Typhur recommends not using the crisper tray for pizza. I'm using the Typhur preset here, which actually cuts the time and temp down considerably from the box directions. Let's see if it works. I would say that the top looks excellent. Let's cut it up and check out the bottom. The bottom is absolute perfection, and I think that clears up all the questions concerning frozen pizza. Just put it on the default setting and let it rip. Next, I wanted to make some homemade pizza, and I kinda half-weighed this. I'm using some store-bought pizza dough I picked up from Aldi, which I usually have success with, but this dough did not want to cooperate with me, and it was a pain in the butt to stretch. The manual says 390 degrees for homemade pizza. This pizza came out amazing. I will definitely be doing this again with my homemade dough. The bottom crust was absolute perfection, and in these pizza tests, you can see just how great the addition of this bottom burner is for making pizza. Absolute perfection from top to bottom. Listen to this crunch. If you're looking for an air fryer that can handle pizza, look no further. Next up, we're making thin cut French fries. I'm using my mandolin slicer for perfect cuts, and if you're in the market for a mandolin slicer, this Jacquard brand has been pretty good, and it's safe as long as you use the food holder. Look at how perfect and uniform these are, and it was so quick to do. I know there's a lot of tricks for crispy fries like soaking in cold water, blanching, dusting with baking powder, but I don't have time for all that, so they're going right in with a coating of olive oil. The quick start guide gives you times and temps for fries, and the app has a fry setting as well. Just based on my personal preference, I'm always going longer than the default setting because I like my fries extra crispy. I tossed these halfway through and these did not disappoint. I dusted them with some coarse ground sea salt and they were great. Alright, next up, chicken wings. Wings are getting so expensive now and there's no reason not to make your own if you have an air fryer. Not quite as good as frying them in oil, but good nonetheless. The first thing I do is divide these wings into drums and flats. I'm using a sharp meat cleaver and this is easy to do, you just have to find the joints and it goes through like butter. So if you have time to prep these the day before, I like to dry them out in the fridge uncovered on a wire rack. That removes a lot of the moisture from the skin and they do crisp up a little better. The next day they look like this, and these are slightly frozen as my garage fridge is a little on the cold side. I tossed these with some olive oil and a generous amount of blazing bird. I crammed 31 wings into the basket. Let's see how it does. Default wing setting is $3.95 for 14 minutes, and I can tell you at this point, I already knew I was tripling that because there ain't no way those wings will be crispy enough. While those cook, I'm making my buffalo sauce, which is equal parts butter and Frank's Red Hot. You could stop here and be fine, but I'm adding a tablespoon of vinegar, a half a tablespoon of garlic salt, a dusting of smoked paprika, and a dusting of coarse ground black pepper. You could also add some cayenne pepper if you wanted to make it spicy. These are what the wings looked like after 14 minutes. I gave them a turn. This is after 28 minutes. This is 42 minutes. And this is 49 minutes total. And remember, they were slightly frozen to start, but in my experience, this is about how long it takes for crispy wings. Next, I shake them up in the wing sauce and serve them with blue cheese. I know every social media food person says the same thing. This might be the best chicken wings I've ever made. But honestly, I think this might be the best chicken wings I've ever made. These were really good, and I had deep fried wings, grilled wings, baked wings. These were just really good today. Alright, next I'm doing some bacon, because after that I'm doing baked potatoes. I'm trying something new here so I can get this whole package in. The bacon default setting is 400 degrees for 10 minutes. That's probably done for someone. I ended up doing a total of 13 minutes and that was perfect for bacon bits. Next up, I'm doing baked potatoes. I coated these with olive oil, stabbed them a few thousand times with a fork, and seasoned them with some coarse ground sea salt. You can see here this big fat potato was probably at the upper limit of height capacity.
I can't fit these potatoes in.
But I was able to get it in by removing the crisper tray.
Ooh, that's tight.
I air fried these for 20 minutes, flipped them and put them back in for another 25 minutes. While these were going, I chopped up that bacon and some scallions. These baked potatoes came out absolutely awesome. Crisp on the outside, soft on the inside. This is my new favorite way to make baked potatoes. I forgot to add the cheese I shredded, but these potatoes were still great. I found a recipe for crispy chickpeas on the app. Dude, these were great. I dried off some canned chickpeas, also called garbanzo beans. I seasoned them with olive oil and fire and smoke holy garlic. I ended up air frying these a lot longer than the recipe called for, but in the end, well worth the minimal effort. These were a great, healthy, crunchy snack. Okay, time for some steak. I'm using the Typhur Sync Gold, which is a killer wireless thermometer that has really helped me dial in my cooking temps. These probes have 6 sensors on them and combined with the app give you a true and accurate depiction of how your meat is cooking. I'm seasoning the steak with just olive oil, salt, and pepper. The steak setting auto preheats and I messed up here. I wasn't supposed to use the crisper tray, and 5 minutes in I yanked it out. Using the Typhur Sync Gold app, I was easily able to monitor this steak and I was shooting for a temp of 130, hoping it would only carry over cook another 5 degrees. The app let me know just when to pull the steak out, knowing it would carry over cook, but I kind of made an error here resting the steak with tin foil. That brought my steak temp past where I wanted it, and this ended up being medium instead of medium rare. But we all still enjoyed this midday snack. Now, what's really exciting is the next day Typhur updated the app, and I was able to use my Typhur Sync Gold to control the cook. So I am doing a steak again, and this time I am setting the dome to use my thermometer to guide the cook. I love this feature, and I've been using it a lot, and so far it's worked flawlessly. I'm seasoning this steak with Fire and Smoke Steak King. And just like before, the dome preheats so your steak goes down on a nice hot surface. The thermometer will update the dome to let you know when the steak will be done. One thing I wish that Typhur did was set an alert for flipping. Maybe they could update that in the app. When your steak has reached the desired temp, the dome will shut off and alert you to pull the steak. This is very cool technology for an air fryer. I let the steak rest uncovered this time and it was better, but it still carryover cooked about 15 degrees, which is about 5 more than I wanted it to, but still very good. So for dessert, we're using the bake setting, only to be found on the app. We're making chocolate chip cookies and we're using the Nestle Toll House recipe. Between batches, we made some tweaks to the time and temps, but overall these cook great and about twice as fast as in our oven. The consensus was that these were better than when we cooked them in a traditional oven. A little crispy on the outside, soft and gooey on the inside. As for cleanup on this air fryer, it's not that bad. The ceramic coating on the basket and crisper tray is non-stick, and everything seems to come off pretty easy. I would recommend cleaning after each use because it will build up and get harder to clean. This oven also has a self-cleaning function that can be accessed in the app, and you should use the self-cleaning mode after several uses to properly maintain it. So do I recommend the Typhur Dome? Absolutely. This is the best air fryer I have ever owned. My version 1 gets used daily, multiple times a day by my family, and it has always worked flawlessly. I don't see any reason why this version 2 won't hold up to the same abuse. Typhur has generously provided a discount code for my viewers. Just click the link in the description and use the code DIFFREVIEWS at checkout for 10% off. That's it for this review. We hope you enjoyed it. God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.